Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel for this episode 5 here on Sudbury with me, Farmer Murphy. Well, we are picking up right where we left off, except for the fact that we left the rain behind by jumping ahead a day. But I did get that other field fertilized, so we're on to plowing next. And you can see I already have the plow hooked to our tractor, and we're going to get on that in just a minute. But there's just one piece of business I want to look after first before we do that. If we look in the used market here and we come to the very bottom, we'll see that there is this Pottinger cedar slash planter or planter slash cedar, however you want to look at it. It actually is a unit that puts all crop types into the ground. And it's currently almost 50% off. It's 5 meters wide and requires 200 horsepower. So we are going to pick that up, and I'm going to arrange for some type of financing. But our tractor currently stands at the factory specified 202 horsepower, and we do have a few hills, particularly in the one field. And the mod happened to have a 250 horsepower tune. And so I was curious with these air-cooled Deutzes if they were easy to tune up. And I Googled it, and in fact, they were pretty easy to tune to get to 250 horsepower by adjusting the fuel system and the air intake system. And it was fairly commonly done. So I found that kind of interesting. But I also did find out a couple other interesting things about this tractor. One is that the frame, the transmission, and rear end were actually manufactured by White Tractor here in North America. And two, it had a reputation as being a very good pulling tractor, outpulling several other tractors in its class. But from what I read, I'm given to understand that the reason for that is they tested a number of these, and it seemed like they were coming out of the factory with closer to 225 horsepower rather than the 200 as specified. Maybe the specification read at least 202 horsepower. I don't know. But anyway, so if we have any issue pulling that planter, we can go and we can tune this tractor up. So that is what I wanted to let you know. So let's jump in the old girl and let's get her fired up here. And we're going to head to the field, and I think we'll go to the field that we did the fertilizing in because it's the larger of the two. Gives me more time to work because we are going to take care of this plowing in a cinematic. So sit back and enjoy the tunes. Well, I hope you enjoyed that cinematic. I plowed the other field as well, so now we are on to the rock picking here. And I actually did finish the rock picking on the other field before I started this. So that one is done. Now, I just rented this rock picker for this season. I'm hoping I can find one used if we're lucky. Kind of like we did with the planter, cedar, whatever the heck you want to, however you want to classify that. It's just I don't want to overextend ourselves, particularly now, seeing as we don't have the enhanced animal mod anymore, because overnight I would get more than 1,500 liters of milk that would make one pallet of cheese. So we could make a pallet a day. Now, without the enhanced animal mod, I was just getting 1,000 liters of milk. So it'll take basically 2 days to get that pallet of cheese. So our revenue is going to be down from what it was. And the few liters of goat milk we're currently getting is nowhere near making up for that loss in the milk from dairy cows. So it's certainly going to have an impact for us. But like I said earlier, we won't need to be spending as much money on minimum feed either. Now I thought I'd bring you up to speed here on a few things while we do some of this rock picking, and then I think we'll finish this up with a time lapse. Now for now, I'm just dumping the rocks in our yard. Our trailer that we currently have is too tall for the rock picker to be able to dump in. So at some point what we'll do is we'll take and pick the rocks up with a bucket and throw in our trailer and get rid of them. But for now, we just got a rock pile in the yard. And so far, this tractor has been working great. I guess the true test will be when we try and drag that cedar around. Now, as part of that red tape mod, there was a section with, or entitled grants. And I got thinking, I'm wondering if we can apply for a grant to put a small biogas plant here on the farm. I'm going to take a look at that and see how that option works. Now, a lot of the, policies are what I would call regulations and schemes are around, being environmentally friendly. And I think a biogas plant would fall into that category. So that may be something we can get some help with. And that would be good because then we could spread the digestate and, we just need a tanker. We wouldn't need a manure spreader as well. So that would work well. So I'm going to look into that. Another thing I'm going to do, I'll do a little test off camera, is I'm thinking of putting the Ritter animal food mod in there so you can modify the animal food. Now, we're not making our own TMR mix, so it'll do us no good there. But we are planning on putting oats actually in this field here so we can get the straw. And I wouldn't mind making it so our chickens could utilize that oats. And the other thing I'd like to do is take our beef cattle and make them 100% effective with, probably silage, let's say, and maybe 80% or something like that on hay, just so that we don't need to have another method of making TMR. Because right now they are only 100% effective if we on TMR, and I don't want to have to buy a mixing wagon and make TMR outside of the feeding robot. So those are the two things I'd like to do, but I'm going to have to test it because I don't know how the Ritter mod's going to behave with that barn with the feeding robot. I'm hoping it doesn't affect it at all. I don't think it will, but I'm going to do a little test just to make sure. Now our seeder can put down fertilizer at the same time it seeds. So I'm going to take advantage of that. I'll just offload some of the fertilizer out of our Braidel spreader and load it up. And so we'll put our last coat of fertilizer down while we're seeding. And I think once I get this rock picking done, then we will, seeding will be the next thing, and we'll jump in and do a cinematic on that. And I'll try doing it in the other field. I prefer to do the cinematics up here right now because the field's a little bigger, and believe it or not, as we go around this corner, it's a little bit better shape for it. It's a little tricky on that other field. It's really an odd shape, so you don't get very many or very long straight runs, I should say, on it. It's gonna make it a little tricky to get your shots in, but I don't want to show everything exclusively on this field. So I think we're going to try seeding down there, and we'll do that in a cinematic. But just so you're aware, we'll be putting fertilizer down at the same time, so that'll be the last time we need to do that. And I can't think of anything else I need to update you on right now. So I think I will leave you there, and we will finish this up with a relatively short time lapse. It shouldn't take too long to finish up this field. So sit back and enjoy a little bit of music. Okay, that job is done. Now let's go dump these rocks off here. And we can return this rock picker. We're done with it for now. Just over here is where I piled them. I don't think they're going to be in our way, so we might just not bother moving them this year, but move them next year. So we'll add to the pile again. There we go. Now, I'll get this returned, and I need to get organized. I need to get some seed, and I need to get some fertilizer transferred. So I'll take care of all of that, and then we'll see if we will do that, start that seeding today and do the cinematic. It looks like the shadows are starting to get pretty long. So I'll have to see what the light conditions are, or if we need to start that job in the morning. So I will look after that here on the farm, and I will catch up with you when we're ready to start seeding. I've got everything organized in our planter, and I've checked the time, and I think we have time to get the corn in this field. We are at our smaller of the two fields, and the reason I decided to put corn in here is because we have lots of chaff still in our storage. So we'll take advantage of the larger field for the extra straw, and I think we'll be just fine. So we are going to do this with a cinematic, so sit back and enjoy the tunes. Well, welcome back to the farm, everyone. It's actually the next day, and no, you didn't miss the cinematic. I forgot what month we were in. We're only in March. You are not going to put any corn in the ground in March. But I was able to put oats in the ground, so I did put that in our big field, and I changed the roller on our grass roller. Um, so we can use it as a field roller. So we are going to go and roll that oats in, and we're going to use the old D21 to do that. So let's jump on board here, because one thing I do need to invest in is some way to clean our windows, because I can barely see out the windows in the 9190 there. It needs a wash bad. Now, it did rain overnight, and you can see the tires are actually still wet. So it did stop though before I woke up. So we're gonna go with on the premise that the field's gonna be okay to roll. So again, oats in this field, and I did put the Ritter mod in, so we can feed oats to our chickens, and we get 100% productivity out of our beef cattle now on silage. Well, actually, on all our cattle, we could just feed them silage, but of course we got the barn with the feeding robot, and so there's a slight texture change. So it won't feed just silage, is what I was, before I interrupted myself, going to say. So it doesn't affect our dairy cattle at all. It just affects our small pen with our beef cattle in it. and I wanted to get a crop in. Excuse me. I wanted to get a crop in that we could get some straw off, so we didn't have to uh, buy straw anymore. I mean, it's still a little ways off before we'll get the straw off here, but better late than never, as they say. Now, there are some custom crops on here, and we are going to check those out, but right now we're kind of in survival mode. So it'll be sometime in the future. We're going to check out some of those new crops and see what we can do with them. But right now we need to put in the ground what we can actually, what we need. We have no spare acreage, as it were. Eventually, I would like to get a roller that, so I could just leave this as a grass roller and not have to change the drums, and just have a dedicated field roller, and one of a larger size too would be nice. This has been taking a little time. Hey, we got time. This is the last chore we have to do this month, and then next month we'll put our corn in, and then we can do our cinematic. Yes, sir. Oh, I did end up having to talk to Uncle Don's buddy and get that 9190 tuned up so it does have 250 horsepower. I could tell by the way it was performing on this field, it was fine, by the way. But even this little hill we're pulling up here, uh, it slowed it down a fair bit, like to about uh, from 15 down to about 11, 12 kilometers an hour. And that other field has got much larger hills on it. And so I figured, wow, we'd go ahead and boost it up. It only cost us a couple $1,000 to get that done. So we have 250 horsepower in that, just because I know it would have struggled more in that other field, just from experience. Now, I'm trying not to do any contracts. I don't think I've done any yet. I don't believe I have. I guess I could look that up, but I don't think I have. And I'm trying to avoid doing them as much as possible. But our bank account's down to 40 grand, and we are not making the kind of money we were when we had the enhanced animal mod in. So I may need to take on one or two contracts here between now and fall, just because we do need to lease a harvester, because we have no sorry, I lost couldn't see where the texture change was there for a moment. Uh, we're going to need to rent a harvester, get this oats out of the field, and so we need to have money for that. So I'll just kind of monitor to see how things are going, and but I wouldn't mind having the money on hand to buy our own old harvester, if that's possible, because we'll continue to put in to continue to do a crop rotation, so we won't be running all corn again. So we might need to do a contract, and like I said, contracts aren't bad on here. People look here quick. Bale wrapping we can't do, but look at it, like there's $10,000-$12,000 cultivating jobs. There was a big, yeah, couple big plowing jobs. Now those we could do. Even that $12,000 sewing job we could do. So there's some good jobs that, just one or two of them would help set us up. But I don't I want to avoid contracts as much as possible. But I don't think it's unrealistic that you would you know, get hired out occasionally to do contract work. And some farmers actually do set themselves up where they do a lot of contracting, custom cutting, kind of like that, or spraying. They've invested in that equipment. And of course, in our neck of the woods here, there are businesses that do just that. Just custom cutting is really popular, or spraying is another one, because those equipment to do that is very expensive. Now, I'm not, like I said earlier, this wasn't intended to be like a vintage series. It just happens to be old equipment is cheaper, and I'm not doing it ultra realistic, but just all my series that I've done so far, I've done relied on contracting on a lot on all of them, and I just want to do something different. I'd like to see the farm just stand on its own. But I tell you, I do have, oh man, in this light here, I think I did miss some there. I'll look on that soil map afterwards. Hard to see that texture change sometimes. I do have a bit of a contract addiction, I was going to say, so it's hard just to let those sit and go by for me. Well, I think that's about all the time we have available to us to show off this work. I'm trying to make this episode all about the farming, because the last episode didn't do such a good job of that, but I think I will leave you there. And now the next thing you will see is the cinematic of the corn going in the ground on the other field once I get moved on into April. Of course, I think I'll have a little bit of chores to do with the animals before I do that. And we have at least one pallet of cheese I see there to sell, so our bank account will get a small boost. And we did get a fair bit of wool we're sitting on to sell too. I can't forget about that while we had the sheep in, because I sold the sheep off and put the goats back in, but I kept the wool because we fed the sheep that made that wool, so there's no reason to get rid of it. But I'm waiting for peak price on it. Anyways, enough of all that. I won't bore you further. I will leave you there, and once again, this time for sure, you will see a cinematic, so sit back and enjoy the tunes. guys. I hope you enjoyed that cinematic. Obviously, we have moved into April so that we could get our corn in the ground. So it is actually the second day of April now, and all of our crop fields have been taken care of. And I'm just out here checking on our grass, and it looks like we can get a cutting of grass in. So I think that's what we'll be doing next. But we'll have to do that next episode. But our bank account is now back up to $50,000 again, thanks to some cheese sales through the remainder of the month of March. And then, of course, we had to sell off our excess manure. And I did load up those stones, like I said, hauled them away. And I have decided not to take on any contracts right now. I think what I would rather do is, if I have to, because we own the land free and clear currently, is take out a small mortgage if I have to. So I won't be doing any contracts right at the time being. But we are out of time here for this episode. And so I think I will leave you there, and we will pick it up right here next episode, and we'll start working on this haying. So if you're still with me, I really appreciate you watching. If you haven't already, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. And if you want to see when other content like this lands, hit that old notification bell. But for this episode here on Sudbury, it's Farmer Murphy signing off.